My dear educationalist and the leader of the Acharya group of institution, my great friend Aravindanji, it's a great pleasure to meet you all today on a Sunday pleasant afternoon and allotting me a session to speak to you all in this wonderful initiative in times of crisis. I really appreciate the efforts taken by Dr. J. Aravindanji, education par excellence, an entrepreneur, a 360-degree leader, I would always say. I admire him for his work. I also bow before our Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji, founder of Pyramid Spiritual Societies Movement. I bow before you for your blessings, and I thank for all the dignitaries here for making this kind of initiative. The world is undergoing a crisis. In times of crisis, the role of spiritual leaders emerge. And I'm very happy to know some of the meditation sessions I've attended. And I've experienced the Pyramid Temple in Acharya group of institution. Whenever Aravindanji calls me for some programs, one man to whom I don't say that I don't have time is Mr. Aravindanji, Dr. Aravindanji. The reason why, it's not because of his success, but because of his heart to contribute to the people's welfare. People run education institutions in different dimensions today. But Aravindanji runs the education institution with the global ideas of Indian culture. The Pyramid Temple, which is there in his school, Villanur, a CBSE school, I've visited there. I stayed there, in fact, one day before the program. I stayed in that room near the temple. And I was asking the staffs there, and I even had a brief conversation with Aravindanji about the concept of Pyramid Temple. The beauty of the Acharya institution. On one side, he will have Ayagriva. On the other side, he will have both ritual and spiritual. Both are integrated in the institution with a modern education. This was the idea of great masters of this land. The master of this land revealed the universal value system. And this universal value system is the bedrock for the humanity. And I think this Dhyan Summit, Dhyan Yagna, digital Dhyan Yagna, which is happening today in Puducherry, and it is being spread across the world. Friends of Aravindanji is present across the world. His alumni are doing really well, and the number of people benefiting out of his entrepreneurial and spiritual journey is innumerable. Thousands of students are getting benefited. He's empowering the youth on physically at Pondicherry, but through meditation session is able to connect to the people around the world. Very inspiring, consistent. One day in the morning, I was messaging him, and I found him awake at 4:30. An entrepreneur who has everything in his life, but working for the people's welfare. He can do the meditation alone, but he pulls people together and he creates a chain of spirituality. I think this is the idea that every person should have in this crisis time. I have admired personally. I have implemented certain ideas in my own education institution, Tycoon Academy, by looking at the model that Aravindanji has created for the education institution. Always a man who takes up modern ideas with eternal principles. I am happy. The meditation is an eternal. It is just not traditional or ancient. We have to understand this is eternal. Eternal is nothing but technology may come, world may change, COVIDs might come, new diseases might come, but bypassing all the crisis, there remains a technology from India. I call this a technology. Meditation is a technology. It's a soft technology. It's a software that India has provided to the entire world. And our yogi, Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji, who has actually taken meditation and guiding the humanity. We need this kind of transformational leaders who have sacrificed their life in uplifting the humanity. The topic that I have chosen today to speak about the dynamic spirituality. What is this dynamic spirituality all about? Many a times today, youth, when we talk about the spirituality, they think we should be somewhere in 80 years or 90 years to understand the dimensions of leadership and spirituality. Leadership and spirituality. I mean the leadership and spirituality. Look at, for example, the 7 habits brought by Stephen Covey or Dale Carnegie. I can quote you references. They have quoted and said, they have taken the universal value system from the Upanishads and Vedas and systems in India. They themselves have given credit. But please understand, they went on to bring the framework. We went on to offer the knowledge openly to everybody the way they can take it. I think India has transformed. If you minus India, even in the COVID times, world will suffer. India is more empathetical. I think this is a dynamic spirituality which you should aim for. Having that local culture and being vocal about the local for the global ideas is all about Atmanirbhar Bharat, given by the government, is not about only product. It is also for the services and Indian value system, Indian culture. I will quote one example of dynamic spirituality. I was in Taiwan for a couple of times, and I was in the Japanese area. In Taiwan, there is a Japanese street. And in the Japanese street, one of the Indians was running a restaurant. One of the Indians was running a restaurant in the name of Three Idiots, movie Three Idiots. And that restaurant, I was having my lunch. And when I was having my lunch, later I found somebody told me, you should go to the parallel street of that Japan street. And that Three Idiots hotel restaurant owner told me to go to the parallel street. So he took me there. He has become my good friend by then. So I went there and found at least dozens of yoga centers and meditation centers. And you won't believe, near that yoga centers and meditation centers, there were stores which was selling mats and kind of pyramids and many other ideas, which are universal ideas that has emerged from India. And I was so happy that that idea which has emerged from India is transforming people, even in Taiwan. And I was in Uganda once. Africans are practicing meditation. The Indians in Uganda. In fact, in Uganda, there are 3 sets of communities which are playing a major role in the Uganda's economy. One is Gujaratis, 2 Tamil Nadu, Tamilians, and 3 Andhra Pradesh people play a major role in the transformation of Ugandan economy. When I went there also, Indians have spread the idea of meditation, the spirituality to the people of Africa. And one more example I'll give you. Last 2 days before, I had my client Harry from Germany. He is working in ArcelorMittal. He's consulting many on circular economy in India. I speak on the professional matters, being a chartered accountant, having an education institution for coaching CA students, and our CA students undergo spiritual trainings. And when I was briefing Harry about our projects, what's happening in India, after I was having a professional conversation, I was talking about our Dhyan Summit also, saying how India is coping up with COVID crisis. With all the digital technology, we are able to implement all the Indian value system. He was so inspired. Some couple of 12 months before, I coached him on dynamic leadership meditation. It is a dynamic leadership meditation. It is about step 1. I told them to put across a vision of his life, and then mission of his life, and then meditate on that mission and vision on an everyday basis, so that the choices that he makes will be based on the dynamism to achieve that. And based on that, today Harry has transformed. He has become an entrepreneur. Now he's able to connect to the people of India, and he's able to secure businesses from here. And that kind of a dynamic leadership Harry has got today. And this pyramid technique of meditation is one of the outstanding ways of taking Indian culture to the people around the world. It is a global idea for the humanity, and I really appreciate the effort taken by the Aravindanji. And not only that, today the common problem adolescents face is the lack of clarity. Lack of clarity. I want to address on this idea of a lack of clarity. By going through this kind of coming together will synergize us to generate new ideas and wisdoms. And by generating new ideas and wisdoms, we will be able to get clarity. Today, many people who are employees in the organization who have a potential to kind of who have a unique potential have the ability to transform the world remain as an employee. But by meditating, they can identify their uniqueness. The self nature, the greatest boon a human being gets in his lifetime is to identify his self nature. A person who should have become a violinist ideally should not end up only being an employee of an organization. A person who's supposed to become a yoga teacher should not throughout his lifetime remain as an IAS officer in the government. Maybe his quality and swadharma, the self nature could be something else. The infinite potential lies in something else. He can either integrate that with a dominant passion that he carries, or he can forget about it. So if he forgets about it, it is the greatest sin that the human being has done without identifying his potential. He has gone out of this world. Can we all take up this meditation, pyramid techniques given by our Guruji, and look at how do we identify the self nature? The Bhagavad Gita given by our Lord Krishna, it's not for the 80 years or 90 years. If you see today, Bhagavad Gita sessions are attended by the old people. And for whom did Lord Krishna preach? Lord Krishna preached for the youth who are in 17 years, 16 years, 15 years. The dimension of understanding Bhagavad Gita could vary. The maturity in which you understand Bhagavad Gita could vary. A 6-year-old kid will understand Bhagavad Gita as a comic. A 15-year-old kid will understand Bhagavad Gita in a different dimension. Same shloka at the age of 30, at the age of 40, at the age of 50 will mean something else. So it is very important, the youth who are in the world of confusion, to get a clarity. The techniques of yoga, the techniques of Indian wisdom has to be given and injected, I would say. It should be injected. Certain times you can only inject. We cannot give an option. Only when you inject, later the seed will blossom into a banyan tree, which will save the entire humanity. So can we all can we all become a compulsive broadcaster of Indian wisdom? Can we all become a compulsive broadcaster of Indian wisdom? The next question that may come from the audience who are watching this program across the world. I don't know certain ideas in Indian system. How can I go and propaganda about it? Don't worry. The clarity will come when you start propaganding about it. I'm an example. Whatever you understand, walk that path. Walk the path and the path will be cleared automatically. Walk the path and the path will be cleared automatically. And the entire idea of Upanishads and Vedas and Tamil literatures of local culture in India is about remaining fearlessness, having a fearlessness. So the great masters of this land, Gautama the Buddha, the Adi Shankara, the Ramanuja or Vivekananda, and many monks who have followed the great tradition of this land preached fearlessness. Even the Indian value system is more helpful in the warfare. For example, Bhagavad Gita is preached to warfare. And he made the Arjuna the warrior to get up and fight. I think the philosophy that we need to adapt is the dynamism that we need to get. Many youths, when they consult me from spirituality, many people say, sir, if I follow spirituality, whether I will become dull. I said to the youths, sorry, when you follow spirituality, clarity will. I think we should compulsively broadcast to the youth of this nation, youths around the world, that clarity is the essence of the dynamic spirituality that we need to understand. It awakens the spirit of oneness. The person who has understood his capability and self-nature will not fear about the external complexities that are prevailing in the world. Today, facing the world is a very difficult exercise. I'm disheartened to note in this nation, some of the top actors, politicians, when they suicide, they have everything in their life. They have prosperity. They have power. There is something lacking in them. What is that? Is a big question mark. That is because they have not aligned themselves into the spiritual path. A very important, you may be an effective entrepreneur. You may be an effective teacher. You may be an effective student. To achieve greatness in life, it is important to you follow a spiritual path. And our paths of our Guruji, transforming people, and people like Aravindan, if they, people like Dr. Aravindanji, if they follow certain ideas, it means those ideas are universal, acceptable, and beyond religion. Acceptable and beyond religion. Let us not get into the fanaticism in this world. The idea of oneness can only come when we go out of the fanaticism. Our Indian systems, the cultures that have come from India, never preached about fanaticism. We have safeguarded the people who have come as a refugee to our country. We have safeguarded everybody. So this is a land of wisdom, compassion, and courage and action. Can we all look at taking this opportunity to make that kind of a movement where the youths become more dynamic and they take charge of their life in the days to come? Certain times when I interact with the youths of this nation, I feel disheartened to note the youth have all the capacity, but going through a modern education, the education which was implanted, I would say, by the Britishers in this land, which is yet to be taken away, the youths are not able to understand the dimension in which they need to travel. They look at our culture in a very inferior model. Please understand, our culture, our Indian culture, to the karma, the 4 yogas that are propounded from our Indian culture. Briefly, 4 yogas. If you go through Patanjali yoga, we have different yoga techniques available. And Guruji has come out with the pyramid technique. And the pyramid technique is the universal technique comprising all the yogas in it. Bhakti yoga, Jnana yoga, Raja yoga, Karma yoga. What is Karma yoga? Karma yoga, the word karma is now taken as a negative word. Some problem happens at home, it is your karma, people say. I'm sorry. Karma is not a wrong word. Karma is doing your work, dedicating yourself into action. Very important. 2, Bhakti yoga is the devotion. Raja yoga is the meditation on the work. And you have your Jnana yoga, knowledge of the work. It is very important to have Jnana yoga, Bhakti yoga, Raja yoga. Without that, you cannot have a Karma yoga. By having all 3, if you don't do Karma yoga, again, you remain, if you want to be useful to the society, you have to certainly get into Karma yoga. I'm very happy, Guruji, after getting the Karma yoga, after getting the Bhakti yoga, Raja yoga, and Jnana yoga, is coming and transforming the people through his Karma yoga and through the ideas of pyramid technique of meditation. Indian land is not the culture, the way of life from India doesn't condition a person. It could be an idea of different foreign influences. The religion, so-called religion that are alien to India, could have given idea of conditioning. These are a set of conditions you have to follow in life. There's no rationality to it. But whereas in Indian system, even an atheist has a place in Indian system. Even an atheist has a place. In fact, I always compared a person, atheist is equal to a person who knows mantra but doesn't know the meaning. Yes, atheist is equal to a person who knows the mantra but doesn't know the meaning. Meaning, atheist is straightly opposing other person knowing the mantra without knowing the meaning remains throughout his life in this way of life. Is equal. Accordingly, it's very important. Even though you may not know all the mantras and Upanishads and Vedas, in fact, I can remember my own grandmother who never knew any mantra or Vedas or Upanishads. She simply followed a universal value system, a way of life. If I go and compare her life with the literature that is available, I can align and can vouch and say she has followed Bhagavad Gita to Upanishads to yoga technique that are there. So the wisdom is the wisdom that the land provides is in our DNA. Can we all take this idea and propagate and transform this world? And our Guruji is a great source of inspiration for the youth of this nation. And I'm sure in the days to come, I will explore more his work and take it to the people around the country, around the world. And I'm sure this is my pleasure in interacting. India provides, many people want to have only one food, But India provides buffet. You can take different items and nutrition yourself with the vitamin, protein, and everything. Same as the Indian culture. There are different ideas on the land. You can take up every idea, experiment it, and then try to arrive at what suits you best. And if Aravindanji has taken a pyramid, a model of meditation and temple with such massive exercise, I can vouch with a full conviction and tell you, every youth of this nation are eligible to take it by blindly closing their eyes. And that's a kind of a confidence I have on my great mentor, philosopher, Mr. Dr. J. Aravindanji. Whenever I meet him, I get that enthusiasm, I get that kind of a spirit, and I'm very happy. Aravindanji's, if you see Aravindanji's network, everybody will say, Aravindan, the man who was transforming Pondicherry initially, but post-COVID, he has transformed himself into a greater personality by taking the value system of our Guruji to the world around. I hope this Dhyan Summit should become a transformational idea. I'm very sure Aravindanji can integrate the entire world in this technology, in this video conferencing in the days to come. He has the potential and the capacity. Let's all use this crisis time of COVID-19, and it's a painful exercise. Everybody's undergoing. Some of my good friends in the industry today morning also I saw, because of the COVID attack, is no more. But it's disheartening. It is painful to see all those things whom we never thought will go in short span of time. But one thing I can tell you, in these times of crisis, people, the leaders, spiritual leaders like our Guruji, who has brought this pyramid technique to the people, and youths like J. Aravindanji, who has taken this to the people, to the masses. This is required definitely at this point of time. Simple techniques which can transform people's life. I'm very, very, very happy for the consistent efforts the Aravindanji is taking. The idea, he's a yogi. He's a yogi, according to me. He's a living guru who has taken the ideas of Guruji and is propagating to the people around. Converse on anything on Indian value system, Aravindanji has an idea, including every 12 o'clock. In fact, when I was talking about compulsive broadcaster, I was in their institution over 6 months before for teaching a certification course for the students. And generally, I don't go to any institution to teach a certification course personally. Only in the Aravindanji's institution, I go and teach to the student. The reason is because of the Aravindanji. And I was there at 11:59. All the students said, "Sir, it is a time to stop your lecture." I said, "Who are you to say?" I said, "The students, who are you to say I should stop the lecture?" He said, "Sir, 12 o'clock, there is a meditation." It was an organ meditation. The awareness, right? I was so inspired. Then I asked the teacher who was broadcasting, "See, please, I have told you about compulsive broadcasting about goodness." And Aravindanji was an icon to it. So he started broadcasting. I started liking. Initially, I was thinking about only 15 minutes time. What 12 o'clock? What meditation? But when I started entering into that meditation compulsorily, then I realized the voiceover he gives, the inspiration he gives on a daily basis. He may not be present in the institution, but his voice awakens us. And we think about the organs and we think about that higher spiritual thoughts. I think the world is conspiring to the ideas of Guruji through pyramid technique, and also where blending of both West and the East is a real champion of to be recognized in the global level. In the days to come, with the blessings of Guruji, I pray that Aravindanji should be awarded by the government of India. Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan awards should come to him. That makes the people who are following him to really get inspired by the ideas of spirituality. We will work for it. We will speak about it, and we'll speak about his goodness. Let me also tell you, his education model was inspired by Niti Aayog itself. I will quote even Unnat Pandit, the director of Niti Aayog, Government of India. I took him to look at his institution. Initially, he was so busy. I told Unnat ji that he might have visited many education institutions, but come to our education institution run by J. Aravindanji. And when I took him to our Acharya Tengathattu school, the principal, the coordinator, everybody, and I also explained about our Acharya Arts and Science College, about our Muthulakshmi Amma's college. And when I spoke about how Aravindanji has done that multiple intelligence technique, multiple intelligence, different intelligence, financial intelligence, all those things, they were so inspired. After 3 days, Niti Aayog director, 2 directors called me. They wanted this intelligence technique which he has mapped into the education institution. to be understood by the government of India himself. And in that even pyramid technique I mentioned, which I visited, I am sure in the days to come, Guruji will be contributing more to our land for transformation of our human being, the inner journey. And many people only look at winning in public life. Some people look at winning in private life. Some people win both, but they lose in one thing called secret life. And people who suffer in life are the people who won public life, who won in private life, but somewhere down the line, they're lacking in the secret life. The fundamental to winning public life and private life is cleansing or bringing the strength and the nutrition to the secret life. When I say secret life, the connect to the soul. Connect to the soul. If you're able to connect to the soul, the energy pops up. The energy pops up. Last thing which I wanted to mention and close the session. I was there in Aravindanji's session of Acharya orientation for the students of college students last year. I was there to address the students there, and one student came there. He was a performer. He was in some sport. He was mentioning to Aravindanji. I observed him, and he mentioned one critical point. I really observed it, and it went into my mind. I searched the literature also through that. One student came and said he was tired in the game, it seems, after playing some sport. And Aravindanji reminded him on the playground. When he was sitting in the playground, he sits with the playground and works on the field with the people. So when he was saying it, he said, awaken the energy from the soul. And the kid won that sport, is what I understand. And the kid came, and he did not talk about it, but that kid came and spoke to Aravindanji. I was a witness to it. And that's a kind of a transformation. That kid comes from a second-tier city in India. That kid comes from a second-tier city near, I think, Viluppuram, near Puducherry. I'm sure this is the request from my side in the days to come. Aravindanji, for his establishment, for his excellence in education, I'm sure the government of India should award, and Guruji also should be called up by the government to give ideas on the ideas of spirituality. To say, let's all work together to bring a transformational India, which was not in transformational India is not transforming the peoples of India. That will anyway happen. It is a duty of the world to take care of Indians. It is a duty of the world to take care of the Indians in the present situation. It is the responsibility of Indians to take these ideas to the world. So it is a world's responsibility to take care of India. It is the responsibility of Indians to take care of the world. I hope you can understand. So it is the transformational work that we will go do. COVID-19 has put everybody into a level. All the businesses have come to a standstill. Today, what is helping is the yoga techniques and the meditation techniques to make the people to keep their mind tamed towards their goal. I want to quote Dr. Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, who wrote the book called Man's Search for Meaning. In his book, he clearly says it is the meaning of life. It is a spirit that made him to survive in the ostrich, the concentration camp. And today, COVID-19 is kind of a concentration camp. And we are all house arrested. And in the times of COVID-19, people like Guruji, with the grace of Guruji, and with the people, leaders like Aravindanji, goes and transforms the people through a consistent meditation practice on everyday basis. I really bow before their services, and I really pray the Almighty that they will be transforming further people in the days to come. Thank you, Aravindanji. Thank you, Guruji, for your wonderful initiative. And I really look forward to you to meet you personally sometime. I will try to collect the contact details from you and take the blessings. You should also visit our Swami Vivekananda School of Public Policy, which you have established in our Chennai. And this is giving ideas to the government of India on various policy matters for inclusive growth and development of India. Thank you, Guruji. Thanks a lot for your efforts that you have taken. And I'm very sure in the days to come, we will be able to transform the world. And you are a hope for all of us. Thank you, Aravindanji. And I'm very happy that you are organizing this. You are continuously sitting from 9 to 5, whether it is the Dhyan Summit or whether it is the students' citation day. You are passionate. Whether it is student citation, the kids, no? Even the kids is so passionate to give the visiting card to them. Very transformational personality. And it is not that I'm speaking here, I'm talking about Aravindanji. I've been talking about them everywhere for ideas. An inspired person should be lifted in this nation. and his idea should become a transformational idea. A great opportunity for me to speak about Arvindanji and Guruji. And this is called dynamic spirituality. The fearlessness, the courage and consideration for the goal of humanity with empathy should come to the youth of this nation. And this dynamism should evolve over a period of time with people like Guruji and Arvindanji. They are like two eyes to me. Thanks a lot, Arvindanji. Thanks a lot, Guruji.
PMC நேயர்களுக்கு ஒரு வேண்டுகோள். வீடியோ மூலமாக மேலும் ஆன்மீக தகவல்கள் பெற விரும்பினால் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் எனும் பட்டனை அழுத்தவும். இதை பற்றிய அறிவிப்புகளை அறிய வேண்டுமானால் பெல் எனும் பட்டனை அழுத்தவும்.